The University of Detroit Mercy presents another brand new episode of Ask the Professor, the radio show on which you match wits with University of Detroit Mercy professors in an unrehearsed session of questions and answers. Today's program was recorded using Zoom video conferencing technology.
The University Tower chimes ring in another session of Ask the Professor, the show on which you match wits with University of Detroit Mercy professors in an unrehearsed session of questions and answers. I'm your host, Matt Maggio. Let me introduce to you our panel for today. To my lower right, it's Professor Jim Tubbs.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. And what did you think about the walking deadness of returning to campus today, Jim?
Well, it really did look pretty dead. I mean, I saw one public safety officer walking around, and that was it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Campus actually, considering all that, looks very manicured. Do you know what I mean? Like it's pretty, put together.
It's neat, and the shrubs are trimmed and stuff. It looks good.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have to show off for commencement this year, but it looks like it's kept up pretty well considering.
Yeah.
Turning around here on the big grid of pictures, I see Professor Beth Olgar is with us today.
Hey, good to be here.
Hey, what's shaking?
I had my first trip to campus since December last year. A couple of weeks ago was the first time I'd been in my office since December, and a bunch of ceiling tiles had fallen down, so I knew it was UDM. Like ceiling tiles all over the floor of my office. I got a nice stack of them on top of a filing cabinet.
Unbelievable.
I keep waiting for one to fall on my head while I'm talking to a student, because I'm sure that's going to happen.
Or it could fall on the student's head.
Well, that would be fine. I don't care if it falls on the student. I care if it falls on me.
No. Beth, let us know when the ceiling tile are going to fall on your head. We'll videotape. We'll get witnesses. I'll only take 20% of the lawsuit.
Right, exactly.
Good idea. Like that.
No charge unless we win.
Yeah.
There you go.
Unstoppable. Continuing around the horn here, Professor Dave Chow is with us today.
Pleasure to be here, as always.
Excellent. What's going on, Dave?
Just another day. It just reminded, when Beth was talking about falling ceiling tile, that one's happened to my office at CCS. But I also had, I think it was one of the air conditioning units, too. So I had like 120 gallons of water dropping on my desk, too.
Oh,
Nice.
So, books, paper, computer. I came back from, break, and it wasn't pretty. So.
Oh, no.
yeah, count your blessings. Ooh.
I know.
Yeah, of course it happened during a break, too, not like a less than 24-hour window.
No. Either way, still tragic. Never want it to be, never want it to happen to anyone. So
yeah, I've seen it happen in chem labs before, too. Trust me, I get it. Professor Dan Maggio is here with us today. Hey, Dan.
Matt, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. Those tiles have been falling off the ceiling for 30 years because when I was there in Briggs, they were falling in the hallways. And so I'm glad to see things haven't changed.
The real question is, can you remember when you were a student and were they falling then?
I don't remember that. But the one thing I will never forget as a student is being able to smoke in the classroom.
Of course.
Being in an English class with not only the teacher smoking, but about 5 students smoking in Briggs 248, which is a teeny little room with 6 people smoking in class.
That was not loud when I was an undergraduate.
So,
I can't believe that you were that lucky.
To think back, it's really shocking that was even allowed.
It was allowed when I was an undergraduate. The dinosaurs just didn't matter. They didn't care.
I know I've said it several times since we've recorded, Dan, but you remember when I had you for Calc 3 that you would be in the middle of drawing some super complex partial integral, and you'd be like, I'm leaving. And then you would just leave the room, have your smoke break on the outside, and then you would come back. Your chalk would go right back to where you were, and then you would continue.
Smelling like a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
Just to let the audience know, I have quit. And it's been 11 plus years. So.
Wow.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I think about it every once in a while. What I want to know from ex-smokers, when they dream, are they smoking in their dreams?
I'm not.
Because I don't know that I've had a dream where I've smoked in my dream.
Beth is very enthusiastic about this.
She's like, yes, I am.
Yeah.
It reminds me, if you don't mind the heavy-handed analogy, that I had a buddy who studied French in high school and spent a whole summer living with a Quebecois family. And when I saw him at the end of 4 months, I go, "How was it?" And he goes, "Well, I'm dreaming in French. I got that going for me." And I was like, "Whoa, that's a big step," but cognitively speaking. So
Yes.
Professor Mara Livezey is here with us today.
Hello.
So you had a low humidity run this morning, I would guess.
Very low humidity, very nice compared to some of the other days this week.
Yes. A couple days ago, it was just gross, just absolutely gross.
Absolutely gross. And I'll be the first to say, actually, compared to some of you who could smoke in your rooms, in classrooms, vaping came to be while I was an undergrad, and it took very little time for rules to come out to prevent students from vaping in classrooms.
Like, I would say less than a total semester.
Yes.
Well, I could do that while I teach this fall. That'll be an advantage. Sweet.
There you go.
The thing we also had oil painters in our classes smoking too. I was like, too many flammables all in one room.
Isn't that pretty? It is. I know.
Yeah.
Well, folks, this is a program you can send us questions regarding anything. If you stump the panel, you win a prize. If you don't stump the panel, you can pick up a prize then too. You can send the questions to us in a number of ways. You can email us at atp@udmercy.edu. You can reach us on the web at udmercy.edu/atp. Or you can find us on Facebook or listen on your favorite smart speaker by asking it to play Ask the Professor at University of Detroit Mercy. When last we left the Super Friends, we were handling some very interesting presidential questions from Kimberly Richards, so we'll continue with those. At least we have a finite set of possible correct responses here. Only one president so far, and this goes all the way to Trump, was sworn in by a woman. Which president was that?
Lyndon Johnson.
It was LBJ, yes. Sworn in
On the
by,
plane.
it says U.S.
Sarah Hughes.
Judge Sarah Hughes, yes. Following the assassination, of course, of J.A. November 22nd, 1963, on Air Force One.
What was her role? What was her title?
She was a
She was
district judge.
She was a district court judge in Dallas, and LBJ knew her, and so asked that she be brought there.
Yep.
And he put his
Also,
hand on the Bible that had come from the presidential stateroom. It was John F. Kennedy's Bible. He put his hand on to take and it's disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to it.
Yeah.
Jackie is just standing there
Dazed and confused.
I don't know how she got through that day or the subsequent days. I mean, I can't even imagine.
It's remarkable what a psychological salve she managed to provide during that weekend, though. I mean, as a kid, I just marveled at that. It's particularly the walking. I just thought it was amazing.
Bryan Cranston did a really good movie on HBO called All the Way, where he played LBJ, and it's about the Voting Rights Act, I think.
That's right.
It was really, really good. His portrayal of LBJ was fabulous.
I mean, he could pretty much play anybody at this point. He's a pretty dang good.
If it weren't for Vietnam, we'd remember LBJ as one of our best presidents, I think.
Yeah.
And he really had a nose-to-nose showdown with my grandmother's cousin, Dick Russell from Georgia.
Yes, yeah. Frank Langella played in the movie.
Yep.
Dick Russell, yeah.
Dracula played. Wow.
Who's the only person ever to take the oath of office, but also administer the oath of office?
Taft, yeah.
William Howard Taft, our 27th president, fulfilled a lifelong dream when he was appointed Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, becoming the only person to have served as both. Of course, in 1925, Chief Justice Taft swore in President Calvin Coolidge 12 years after Taft himself had arrived as president. Along with, this is great, by the way, and I think I remember this one. It's a good piece of American trivia. Along with all of those firsts, Taft was also the last American president to have this.
A giant-sized bathtub.
A Blockbuster card.
A beer?
Giant-sized bathtub.
It was facial hair. You got
Was
it.
that facial hair?
Yeah. When he trimmed down to 300, it was a blessing for the horses when he took a ride.
Can you imagine how many Secret Service it took to surround him? I mean,
I have seen a picture of the bathtub that had to be designed to go in the White House for him to bathe with 4 workmen sitting in it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Wow.
Which U.S. president delivered the shortest inaugural address as measured by number of words?
Lincoln?
Mm-mm.
Let me think.
words.
Shortest.
Gotta be one of those early guys, yeah?
I think so. I'll give you a little bit of comparison here. They claim the longest inaugural address, 8,445 words, came from William Henry Harrison, who infamously, of course, caught pneumonia after delivering that speech and died a few days later. So that's good for him. This speech, the shortest, 130 words.
What?
Let's see.
And Beth is correct. One of the early guys, but who was it?
Oh,
Adams, Madison, Washington.
The Adams.
Everything's been covered here. It was Washington's second inaugural.
Oh, okay.
I honestly think I've heard like the verbiage before. It basically is like, what are we doing here? Get back to work.
He had nothing to add, yes.
Back to work, you slackers.
Exactly. Which U.S. president was the only one who was sworn in by his father?
Quincy Adams.
You know, that's not what it says here.
Oh, sworn in by, so this is someone who's Chief Justice of the Supreme Court and then his son.
Harrison?
I'm doing my best to really quickly go through this. No, I like the way you're trying to deduce this, but it says here, let's see here. This vice president was in Vermont visiting his family home, which had no electricity or...
Oh, that was Coolidge. Coolidge, after Harding died.
Right. When a messenger brought word of Harding's death, his father, a notary public, administered the oath of office in his family's parlor by light of a kerosene lamp.
A lamplight, yes.
Mm-hmm.
A parlor? Oh.
I had to calm Matt down earlier this week about the possibility that when Trump is defeated, his refusing to leave the White House, which I think is something we don't. Yeah. Because as soon as another president takes the oath of office, the Electoral College certifies the election, he'll be escorted out of the building by the Secret Service.
Right. He may go right to the district attorney at that point.
Oh, he's headed straight for prison after he's done as president. I don't think there's any question about it. All of those cases that are in abeyance because of the stupid idea about a sitting president. Well,
I think it will be an interesting exit from the Capitol building for sure.
I think I'm probably going to regret saying this on the air, but a very good chance he would not attend the inaugural. I think that's...
Oh, I'm sure.
Almost certain. Yeah. So, but yeah, Biden's quote from the other day was pretty entertaining. It's like, I know several generals that will dispatch him presently.
Yes.
Pierre Trudeau will do it for him.
We'll remove him with dispatch.
Yeah. The military is not going to be on his side if he wants to attempt this little coup. I think recent events have made that pretty clear. But they're not. I
don't think the military is going to support any coup.
No. Thank God.
Which U.S. president had to retake the oath of office one day later because of an error during the ceremony?
Obama did that.
Yep.
That was Obama 09.
Or something, I think, originally.
Chief Justice John Roberts said the word faithfully out of sequence So Obama paused and smiled, seemingly aware of the mistake, like a good constitutional lawyer would be, and then retook the oath the following day out of, quote, an abundance of caution, unquote.
Oh, wow.
Conspiracy theorists must have loved.
This is what happens when you elect the editor of the Harvard Law Review.
Yeah.
Now, did it change any of the intent,
No.
or is it just protocol?
Yeah, probably just
You,
protocol.
you don't want to leave any, I undotted or T uncrossed under those circumstances.
Yes.
That's
None of
why
those-
that's why it was important for Johnson to be sworn in on the plane, right? So there's absolutely no gap in the continuity of
Right.
Okay, all right.
Especially during the Cold War, that was a good idea.
It says that after all is said and done, only one president, while president, has held an MBA. What president was that?
Hoover?
W. Didn't W get an MBA from her?
Yeah, it was W. Bush. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
He got it from Yale in 1968. Mhm. It says after his guard duty, Bush continued his education, enrolling at Harvard Business School, where he got the MBA in 1975. Trump, for the record, claims to hold an MBA from the Wharton School of Finance, but actually graduated in 1968 with a BS in economics only.
Yes.
Oh, he got BS all right.
Plenty of that.
He went to the Wharton School, but not for the MBA.
Right, exactly.
And he didn't get a degree from there?
Got a bachelor's degree there.
Oh, okay.
Didn't get an MBA from there, yeah. Wow, Kimberly, I gotta say, we're very much looking forward to you joining us in a couple weeks. On the air here. These questions have been great. We have one more to go, so thanks again for sending them in.
Yes, thanks.
Which U.S. president was the head cheerleader at his high school?
Gerald Ford.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm not reading fast enough, and that's my problem here. Let's see. Oh, wow. Kimberly always has this great background information. No, it says here that it was George W. Bush.
That's what I was going to say for some reason.
That's what I was going to say, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought he was in college, so I didn't realize it was high school.
Yeah, it was high school. Other famous male cheerleaders from celebrity, by the way, include Jack Lemmon, Jimmy Stewart, Michael Douglas, Steve Martin, and of course Samuel L. Jackson himself. So
I can only imagine the cheers.
Phillips Academy High School in Andover, Massachusetts. George W. Bush, head cheerleader. Thanks again for
Martin had the
sending.
philosophy degree, though, so
Hey, you know what? We got a single question
Uh-oh.
submitted from our question thing online. This should be interesting. It was submitted by your colleague and mine, Mary Catherine Harrison of our Department of English at Detroit Mercy. What is an aglet? Aglet.
Oh, it's the little thing on the end of a shoelace. It is hard.
That's right.
that enables you to lace them, basically, that enables you to lace your shoes.
That is exactly correct. I love how she doesn't sign the email. It's just the question. Boom. Done. We're all set here. Very, very funny.
Send
Yeah,
more.
the cartoon characters Phineas and Ferb do a whole song on the aglet.
The aglet.
Yeah. And how to spell aglet and what it is.
Awesome. I gotta say that you guys aren't gonna like to hear this, but my youngest, Emmett, who just turned 8 a few weeks ago, I don't know if he's ever in his entire life had tie shoes. They've all been Velcro, which, let's be serious, when you're sending someone to preschool and kindergarten,
Not a
that's
bad
definitely
idea.
the way to go.
Makes sense.
Well, and then when you hit 80, they become useful again.
That's right.
Got it. We have a small set of questions here that I think are appropriate from our friend Kathy Riley, Kathy with a K, Riley, from Glendale, California. And she sent some questions regarding, can you name the product or company that this jingle is from? And jingle means there's going to be some sort of music, but I can't synthesize the music. So let's just say it's
Well, to say it?
Sing it, Matt.
Just
You
sing it
can
for us.
sing it.
It's fine.
Dang it.
Well, there's some that I can, do, and some that are going to be a little tougher because of my age. But I'll do
Your
it.
octave? What? It's out of your vocal range.
It could be.
Well,
How
chance.
about a little dab will do ya?
Oh,
Grill cream.
Grill cream, yes.
Little dab will do ya. They love to get their fingers
We
in
could
your
all
hair.
use some right about now.
There you go. Actually, that sounds like something I could have
It
tried.
makes me think about George Clooney and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh.
I'm a
Mhm.
Dapper Dan man.
Dapper Dan.
Yes.
What did he use? What was it? What product did he use?
Dapper Dan, that was the
Dapper
name.
Dan, that's right. Yes.
Absolutely.
Or you
Dapper
could talk to
Dan.
Prasad. I'm sure he's got some Indian voodoo cream too. Remember that?
From the $1.25 haircut. That's probably it. He took
Oh.
What about
get a
Good to
$1.25
the last
haircut in
drop.
Bangalore, he said.
Go to the last drop. Folgers? No.
Maxwell House.
Maxwell House.
Maxwell
Max-
House.
yeah.
I had the
Okay.
right type of drink.
All right.
Yeah, they're right.
What's next, Matthew?
How about it takes a licking but keeps on ticking?
Ever ready?
Timex.
Watch.
Duracell.
Yeah.
Timex.
Timex.
Yes,
Okay.
Timex.
Oops, my bad. John Cameron Swayze, right?
Yep.
What was his claim to fame besides those commercials?
And he did the
Oh, wow.
Samsonite commercials, I thought.
He did the Timex commercials for sure.
Okay.
But what did he do prior to that? I mean, no offense. I mean,
Maybe he's like
Oh.
Jacques Gabor. He's famous for being famous.
I think he did documentaries at one time.
okay.
How about when it
Like that?
How about when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight?
FedEx.
FedEx.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're getting packages from the Oak Park office.
Yeah, that's not so
Well,
true anymore.
Good
I
luck.
don't know.
Now this is definitely one that I could sing, but I'm not going to. Reach out and touch someone.
AT&T.
AT&T.
AT&T. That's right. Back in the day.
Or Donald Trump.
Oh.
How about don't leave home without it?
American Express.
Okay.
Hmm.
One of the credit cards.
Obviously, you had to spend a lot of time watching TV in the 1970s to get up, which is why Jim and I are, Johnny
Yeah.
on the spot with all these.
I feel like I'm at a distinct disadvantage here since I only have seen commercials for the first half of my life.
Well, Mara, you should be able to get this one because you wouldn't have had to have seen a commercial. This is actually printed on the product itself.
Oh, I was going to say print magazines? What? What's a magazine?
All right.
When it rains, it pours.
Oh, a Morton Salt.
Mm-hmm. Morton Salt, the little salt girl.
Yes.
And I made,
Iodine.
yeah, with, get your iodine. If Prasad were here, he'd tell us about that too.
That and parsecs.
I made myself laugh when I read through this the first time because the last one is fairly obvious. All the news that's fit to print.
The New York Times.
But I read it as the Simpsons joke because the Springfield Shopper newspaper is all the fit that's news to print for no reason whatsoever.
I like the motto of the National Enquirer: "Inquiring minds want to know."
Oh.
The Washington Post has the best one.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's the
it
best.
does.
Democracy
It does.
dies in darkness.
Absolutely. That is awesome.
That's because Marty Barron is their editor-in-chief.
Mhm. So, professors, you're going to love this. We've asked for this a few times, and now it is here.
Ocean liner questions?
No.
Canadian
Actually-
Prime Ministers.
The title on the email is No Questions. Stay
Oh.
tuned. Dear Matt and Profs, I'm sorry to inform you, I have no questions for you this time around. We're still working, but we've noticed that you've been having a tougher and tougher time getting from your panelists a favorite topic to discuss at the end of the show. We love your segment. As the question is open-ended, we get to find out a little bit more about each prof. To help you along, I've supplied you with 15 favorites for you to use. We hope they will help and get out more great answers from the panel. Warmest regards from Valencia, California, Frank Burrows and family.
Right. Oh.
Yeah.
So this is going to be tons of fun, and I think that it's already knocking it out of the park on like the first line here. This is great. let's just do one of these over our great many of shows we're going to be doing here in the future. What was your favorite childhood toy?
Ooh.
Gotta think about that one.
Big Bruiser.
The what?
What was this, Jim?
Big Bruiser. It was a white battery-powered wrecker truck with a red flashing light on the top, and it would pull a pickup truck that you could get in an accident, and you could pop the fender off. You know, it would have a crushed up fender. You could replace it with a good one, and a flat tire that you could replace with a good tire. It had a working winch on the back. It was great.
Nice.
It was great until my little brother.
You said winch, not wench, right?
Winch.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was great until my little brother got loose with a blue permanent magic marker one time, and it wasn't the white.
He was learning his skin striping.
But it still worked.
I liked my spirograph when I was a kid.
Oh, those are fun.
Yeah.
What is that?
A spirograph is this thing that had a bunch of templates in it, and you basically could trace pictures and shapes.
Make beautiful geometric shapes, spiral shapes.
Like
you can still buy them. I bought one for a great niece not too long ago. You can still find them.
That's awesome.
I got two. I'm not sure which one though. My Duncan yo-yo or my erector set.
Oh, I love my erector set. That was great.
Oh, this is when they're still metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, before the plastic ones took over. But yeah, I had one of them. Come on, Dan, what's yours?
I don't have a toy.
Oh,
when I was young,
childhood.
I worked, I drove a bike, and I had pets. So I'm going to go with the bike. The Schwinn Continental was my bike of choice. But I don't remember. I remember playing with Big Jim Camper.
Yeah?
But I wasn't really a toy. I don't remember a lot of toys. Yo-yo for sure. Now that you bring that up. But
the
that's the best
yo-yo?
I can offer.
Mm-hmm.
What, like the butterfly, the golden award, the imperial, the glow in the dark one.
Oh God, it was yellow. It had a butterfly shape.
The butterfly.
Yep. Which I think was pretty common. So.
Yep. How about you, Mara?
Maybe. So we had this set of transforming Power Rangers that were Power Rangers, but they transformed into shapes where you can put them all together into like the Mega Power Ranger. That's pretty cool.
Those are cool.
Sounds like something Matt would have said.
Yeah.
Come on, man. What about you?
I have to be, from the vein of a generation that every single cartoon that I watched was really just a promotion to go out and purchase something, so I can chart my entire childhood by starting with, and I really regret this too. I let my niece X number of years ago borrow my original Empire Strikes Back Millennium Falcon. It was like this thing, and she basically just destroyed it. And it's like I could have just put that in a box for a few years and let it mature, but well.
And paid for Emmett's college education, right?
Yeah. But no, I was really big into for a very long time, considering at least like 2 years, 3 years into like original first generation Transformers, and I had all the ones that were die cast, so I actually still have those, and I've kept them in pretty good shape. So
does anybody here remember the Micronauts?
Oh yeah, I remember
the cast metal ones and the plastic ones. Those are pretty,
absolutely
articulated. Yeah, those are pretty nice.
So that was pretty eye opening there.
So there's more.
A good view. Well, of course there is, but we're gonna meet them out, Dave. We don't want to.
All right.
Shoot the moon here on our very first show. As a matter of fact, I see we're within about 40 seconds of having to say goodbye, so I'm afraid that that time has come. But this has been a ton of fun, and tell you what, Frank and the Burroughs family, thanks for sending us those favorites. If anybody else wants to send us a list of favorites, it's nice to not have to worry too much about coming up with something on the fly. And I think you all are going to really enjoy going down this list over the next season.
Looking forward to doing the rest of them. That'll be fun.
Yeah, they sound good. Hey, before we go, Dan, did you get a good picture of Matthew's great hairband?
I didn't take the picture. Dave did, but yes,
Dave
we did.
Take a picture,
Oh.
Jim.
And mine.
And Beth.
Oh, that's got one too. Yes.
I think after this part of the day, if I remove it, it doesn't go anywhere. It's kind of tricky that way. But,
And I was telling Mara, my hair just goes down the back of my shirt now. That's all. It's easier to keep.
Falls in my eyes, which is why I had to buy the headbands and the barrettes. And I'm like, I don't do girl hair anymore. I shouldn't have to buy this stuff.
Oh my!
It's just
Okay.
annoying.
Yep. You can always get a baseball cap and wear it
Darn
backwards.
right.
Yeah, I've brought mine out of retirement. So
All right, folks. Well, the time, I'm afraid, has come to say goodbye, Mara.
See you later.
Dapper Dan.
hey, you changed my name.
Dave.
See ya.
Beth.
Bye.
Jim.
Bye-bye.
And now these words from University of Detroit Mercy. Ask the Professor is transcribed at the facilities of, frankly, our homes all over Metro Detroit. It's produced and technically directed by Michael Jason and Brian Masonville, and our executive producer is Professor Jason Roach. Until next week, I'm your host, Matt Maggio.